Flight attendant throws out elderly black woman's medicine. Her son grounds entire flight. Where are you watching from? Type your city in the comments. You might just get a shout out in the next video. If you're a cat lover, hit like. If you're a dog lover, drop a comment. Let's see who wins. And if you love pets in general, hit like and subscribe for some good luck today. The plane smelled faintly of brewed coffee and fresh upholstery. The air buzzed with quiet chatter as passengers settled in. Margaret Price sat in seat 14A, looking out the oval window at the tarmac bathed in late afternoon light. Her short silver hair was combed neatly, and a touch of pink lipstick softened her serious expression. At her feet rested a small leather handbag, not a carry-on, not bulky, just big enough to hold her essentials. Inside it was something she could never be without, a prescription asthma inhaler. Without it, her breathing could spiral into dangerous territory within minutes. Her son, David Price, sat in 14B. At 6'2" in a tailored navy suit, he carried himself with quiet authority. He was a man who measured his words, but when he spoke, people listened. He had taken this flight with his mother for one reason. He never trusted her health to chance. A flight attendant approached. Amanda Collins, mid-30s, sharp bob haircut, uniform pressed so crisp it looked fresh out of a catalog. Her smile was professional but not warm, the kind that said she could be polite but wouldn't hesitate to correct you. "Ma'am," Amanda began, nodding at Margaret's bag, "I'll need you to store that in the overhead bin for takeoff." Margaret shook her head gently. "I'm sorry, dear, but I can't. My inhaler is in here. I need to keep it close." Amanda's smile tightened. "We have to make sure all bags are stowed. If you need something, you can ask me and I'll bring it to you." David spoke before his mother could. "Her inhaler needs to be with her. If she can't reach it within seconds during an attack, it could become a medical emergency." Amanda crossed her arms. "Sir, I understand your concern, but policy is policy. We can make an exception if I verify the item, but otherwise it must be stored safely." David leaned slightly forward. "Then verify it now. She needs it where she can reach it." Amanda hesitated, clearly irritated, but gave a curt nod and walked away. David exhaled. Some people mistake rules for excuses to stop thinking. Margaret smiled faintly, but there was a flicker of worry in her eyes. Minutes later, Amanda returned with the beverage cart. As she passed, her gaze fell on Margaret's bag still at her feet. Without a word, she stooped, grabbed it, and briskly walked toward the galley. David shot up from his seat. "Excuse me, where are you going with my mother's bag?" Amanda didn't look back. By the time David reached the front, Amanda had already returned. She dropped the bag onto Margaret's lap. "It's been stowed safely," she said flatly. Margaret's hands trembled as she opened it. Her eyes widened. "David, it's gone." David's stomach clenched. "What's gone?" "My inhaler." He turned to Amanda. "Where is her inhaler?" Amanda's tone was cold. "I had to dispose of it. Loose medical items are not allowed unsecured during turbulence. It's policy." David's voice sharpened. "You threw it away?" Amanda shrugged lightly. "We can request one at the destination airport." Passengers nearby began whispering. A woman 2 rows ahead muttered, "That's insane." David stepped closer, his voice low but hard. "That inhaler isn't just medicine, it's the difference between her breathing and suffocating. You've just endangered her life." Margaret's breathing hitched, the faint whistle of constriction already audible. "David," she rasped. David reached into his inside jacket pocket and pulled out a sleek leather wallet. Inside was a Federal Aviation Clearance badge. Amanda's expression faltered. David's voice was calm but carried the weight of command. "Amanda Collins, I am David Price, Deputy Director of Federal Air Transport Oversight. You have just committed a federal violation by interfering with a passenger's access to essential medical equipment." Amanda's lips parted. I didn't." "Save it," David said sharply. He turned to another flight attendant. "Get the captain. This flight isn't leaving this runway until this is resolved." The second attendant looked stunned. "Sir, we can't." "You can, and you will. or I'll have every member of this crew pulled from service before sundown." Within minutes, the captain was on the phone with ground control. The engines idled. Passengers exchanged wide-eyed looks. Medical personnel boarded quickly, bringing a replacement inhaler from the terminal. Margaret took a long, shaky puff, her breathing easing almost instantly. The airline supervisor arrived, a stern woman in a dark blazer. David handed over Amanda's ID. "She's done for today, and I want security to preserve all onboard footage." The supervisor didn't argue. "Ms. Collins, collect your things." As Amanda walked the aisle, heads turned. Some passengers shook their heads in disbelief. Others whispered under their breath. When she was gone, the captain announced the flight would be delayed until a replacement attendant could arrive. Hours later, as the plane finally climbed into the night sky, Margaret reached over and squeezed her son's hand. "You didn't have to fight that hard for me." David smiled faintly. "I wasn't just fighting for you, Mom. I was fighting for the next person who might not have someone to speak up." Margaret's eyes softened. "Your father would have been proud." And as the hum of the engines filled the cabin once more, the lesson was clear. Rules protect lives, but without compassion, they can just as easily endanger them.